Let's talk about nomenclature. Nomenclature is something that can be very, very confusing. And the reason it's confusing is because in the world of jazz nomenclature or chord symbols, there are quite a few ways that you can call a chord a chord. For example, let's look at this sheet here. Let me get, I can zoom in a bit so you see what's cooking. Look at that camera work, man. Alright, so this is major, right? Major, Ionian. This is how it's built, whole step, half step. And this right here, the letters of the scale. This is the information we're going for. This is what we want to get to. As soon as we get to this, we can create. And we can say, get out of my face with all these names. How do I get to this? But look at this. Check this out. Let me move it over. So here are all names for C major. Okay? This is what you will see out there. Capital C, that means I can use the C major scale. C with a triangle, I could use the C major scale. C MAJ, I could use the C major scale. C MA, I could use the C major scale. C MA7, C major scale. C MAJ7, C capital M, C capital M7, C MAJ9, C MAJ13. And this is what, 10? 10 different names for C major, and there are even more than that now, about 15. So if you don't know that these all mean the same thing, you might think these all mean something different. And there's that much more you need to know. You don't need to know more scales for each symbol. You need to know that these symbols all mean the same thing. That can get a little tricky. When I teach, we spend about 2 weeks on this sheet because it's just that important. You can get really confused with all of this stuff. So with all these names over here, it's really just these scales that we're concerned about. But this naming issue can really be confusing, and people get frustrated with it. In fact, I believe the person who came up with the C with a triangle, I think the triangle was made by someone who said, I'm just tired of all of this. I want it to be one way and hopefully people will jump on it. And what happens is it just became thrown in with everything else. So this is like a salad bar of chord change symbols, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But if you're aware of it, it can eliminate some of the stress in thinking that there's more to know than there actually is. And there's plenty to know in jazz. There's no end to how much you can analyze and how much you can use information. However, this you don't need. This you don't need to think that each symbol means something else. So check this out. Let me move this over. Okay, minor 7. Second mode of the major. Here's the construction. This is the information we need. This is what we want. Look at the names. Look at what they call this. C with a slash. That means C Dorian. C/7, C Dorian. CMI, C Dorian. CMI7, C Dorian. CM7, CMIN, CMIN7, CM9, CM11, CM13. Oofa! Look at all this. And you can also have CMIN11, CMIN13. You could, once you see how this can spin out of control, you can add 5 or 6 more titles to it. So it gets a little crazy, but just know it. And what's good about this sheet, what I like about this sheet, let me zoom it back. What I like about this is it isn't really telling you what to use, and it isn't saying this is the law. What it's saying is this is what's out there in the real world, and this is what you're going to see. And this can really get confusing. So here, let me show you something else. This is good. Talk about confusing. Let me try and get some light here, see if I can get some better light. All right, so let's look at this here. Where is it? Oh, you'll like this one. Diminished whole tone. Altered scale. 7th mode of the melodic minor. This is all good information, this here. Here are the notes. This is what we're going for. But look at what it's called. This one really can get out of hand. So what you have here is you have... well, let's actually start from the right-hand side and move in. You have... we're down here. C7, flat 9, plus 11, plus 9, flat 13. If that's not enough to confuse you, why don't we call it C7, flat 9, plus 4, plus 9, plus 5. So now what happens, this can get so convoluted that someone said, I'm tired of this. This looks like a schematic for the space shuttle. I don't need, I don't need this. Whenever they alter all of these notes, I'm just going to call it altered. All right, so now this is another way. ALT, you may see that, which means the same thing as these, right? Or actually, it means the same thing as over here. Then someone became tired of the altered, and they said, look, I'm just going to say plus 9. And when I say plus 9, I just want everyone to assume that it means everything else is altered. So talk about confusing. So when I teach, what I like to do is I like to teach from this sheet just so students are aware, because you may not see all of this in one book, but depending on what book you can get a fake book where they're going to use this method, and then you'll flip into another book and they may use this method where they write out every extension. So you're going to see it differently. So don't think that each one of these symbols is something different. And when you kind of learn that, you'll realize that it isn't as blown up and out of proportion as you might think. This music is hard enough by itself without worrying about this. And this information is in this book that Jamie puts out. I mentioned it before, I believe, in another clip. Get online, type in Aebersold Jazz, look for the Jazz Handbook, and I believe this whole thing is in PDF format. Jamie has it up there for free, and you can get all this information, and it's good. You can teach a complete course just out of all the information that's in this little handbook. This thing is great. Anyway, don't let it get you down. Don't get discouraged. And just take your time with it and you can figure it out.